Hey there, friends and viewers. This is Hengest with TGN.TV, and I got another PvP video for you today. In fact, I'm going to go in with my Frost Mage, Rigel. Say hello. You probably met him before. And I love to play Frost, not because it's mega overpowered, but because playing as a mage is like playing a game of chess. It's all about managing your cooldowns and just taking it step by step. It's not as high octane as Feral PvP or a warrior, but it's definitely just as enjoyable for me. So I start off usually on top of this huge pillar here. It's like a big monument. People don't know you can get up there. And then I just bombard people from above if they go in that area. But since this demolisher was going to get by, I had to jump off. And I just start unloading on it with some of these Fingers of Frost hits there. I just hit it for 54k and a deep freeze. All you raiders are like, that was so lame. But you know what? I'm wearing some bloodthirsty gear as well as even some healing gear in here, so give me a break. And I think that is some spectacular burst damage. So this team here starting to realize what's going on. They realize that I just bulldozed down that demolisher, and this warrior comes in here, arms warrior, and I had to ice block there because I didn't really have any cooldowns to deal with him. And so I put my shields back up as soon as I realized he's back on me. Oh no, I go for advantage there. Nice little invisibility, drop the aggro on that hunter pet, which was a beast mask. You can tell because it's Chimera. And now it's me versus this warrior. I'm very low on health. He doesn't really realize what's going on. Great impact there. Use my mirror images. I think he gets confused in which one I am. If you're in this warrior's position, guys, always look for the mage with the shield. Or just look at the HP values. Don't ever get confused by the mirror images, but they can throw you off from time to time. That would have been a perfect time for him to charge me. I was staying in his magic box there. Inside of his charge range, but outside of his melee range for the majority of that fight. I think he tried to go in for a spell reflect right at the end there. Overall, pretty poor performance by that warrior. And so I go back up this hill, and I'm going to go after this demolisher. It looks like it's pretty much surrounded by my team. Now, Frost Mages are the best class for dealing with these things because you have just a plethora of snares, and every time it's snared, you can just mega crit it because it has no magic resistance and no resilience, so it's uninhibited damage. And there we go, some more crazy burst damage. A deep freeze for 47k. Finish her off with a nice ice lance, and then I'm going to start picking off these hordes. Got a resto shaman trying to run off here. Oh no, elemental thundershock right there, and some kind of a worgen feral on him too. I'm going to take him down because I know where he's headed. He's headed straight for another demolisher. If I can kill him before he gets in the demolisher, I don't have to deal with the demo afterward. So try to kill him off. I don't know what that was. A buddy nearby must have just laid on his hands because he healed for full right there. Yeah, it was a lay on hands. There's the paladin, even with a hand of freedom there. Why didn't he just get snared by that conical? I'm not sure. Anyways, snare off this demolisher again. Another huge burst damage there. The deep freeze with another ice lance and more burst damage. Holy cow, this thing's getting slapped across the face with these frozen spells here. Great placement on that ring of frost. Both of these demos are going to drive straight into it and just get CC'd for 8 seconds there. I decided to unload on this demolisher even more, hitting with a frostbolt for almost 28k there. Crazy damage. I didn't realize that frost was this strong. My gosh. And now I'm trying to keep my snares on both of those demos, but I get intercepted by some balanced mage back there, or excuse me, balanced druid, and just get overcome. I didn't think I died in this battleground. Sad face. That was a quick res there. This rogue is opening up on what looks to be a paladin there. I'm going to try to take him down. Clearly really high resilience, so I'm not critting him at all. Low values there. So geared rogue. And now the enemy team is pretty much broken into our last layer of defense. This is the yellow moon gate or yellow sun gate. I just call it yellow. Huge burst damage there again on those demolishers. And this is where it starts to get interesting because in this match, our entire team was actually coordinating, and we just bottlenecked at this gate up here. The entire team stays back there, and if we focus fire on the demolishers, if the team is better, then they just can't get through. So here we go. Frost Mage yet again opening up with some snares. Looks like this guy's stuck or something. Another great placement of the Ring of Frost there. He's going to drive straight into that. He can't really avoid it. That just gives us more opportunities to blow it up. And of course, Frost Mages do extreme damage against frozen targets, those demos included. Look at this hunter. He's trying to get by. I get inside his melee range, so he can't do anything to me, except his pet is doing damage because he's Beastmaster. Hit him with a huge Frostbolt there for 23k, and somebody death grips him out of his melee range. Doesn't matter though, he got overcome by a ton of guys. Excuse me. I was just drinking some 7-Up. Alright, so here's where the bottleneck begins. Even conjure a fucking mana pie and start drinking it right there. That was epic. Oh my gosh. Just sit down and start eating mana pies in the middle of an epic battle like this. Holy cow, Rigel. Now we got this arms warrior trying to get away after getting his demolisher destroyed. I'm going to open up on him some big-ass Frost Lances. If you love to see big numbers, Frost is your friend, even perhaps more so than Arcane these days. I just blink right out of his charge. No chance there. I see an undergeared, looks like an Unholy Death Knight up there. Burst on him pretty nice, save my elemental friend. And here comes yet another Demolisher. You can see somebody in the group is marking them with skulls. Very wise. For some reason I was targeting a Shadow Priest's shadow image. Anyways, that Demolisher gets completely destroyed. You can see my entire team is just LOSing behind this wall. And this is, you do not want to run in there one by one if you're the Horde in this situation. You need to coordinate with your team and just regroup outside the gate and just push in slowly. But in a random battleground like this, it's very hard to coordinate that sort of thing, whereas it's not so hard to bottleneck at this gate. So, yeah, it's kind of difficult to deal with this situation in Strand of the Ancients if you're in the Horde's position. I go up here for a nice vantage point, see if I can't snipe off some people, find this balanced mage, open with some nice Frostfire burst right there, no crits. Oh, and I just jumped down to try and deal with that Demolisher with a nice deep freeze there. Here we go, another great placement on the Ring of Frost. And this warrior comes straight at me. I'm forced to use my ice block because I'm not ready to deal with him. And now here we go. I'm outside of his charge range. That means I'm in danger. Oh, some fatty burst damage. He uses a heroic leap, interestingly enough. And now I'm back in the safe zone right here. And that's how you deal with a warrior. I wasn't 1v1ing him or anything, but pretty good demonstration of exactly how you want to deal with warriors as a Frost Mage. You don't want to go too far away from them, otherwise they can charge you, but you don't want to be inside their melee range. Somebody placing a nice Ring of Frost there, but not necessary because the burst damage from my team just blows that thing up. It does get that Resto Druid though. And now the Horde team is starting to catch on here. They're starting to regroup outside the gate. You can tell because a lot of their team is not in here. There's 1 or 2 characters. That means they're all regrouping outside. And they're going to muster up some bigger push. I know it happens. And here we go. We got a Demolisher coming in. Just getting owned by a 30k Frostbolt there on a frozen target. Look at all that damage. But he is in range to bombard the Relic Chamber there. He got off 3 shots. That is not good. My team needs to get back over there and get in front of the gate to prevent that from happening. You can see these guys are trying to run Zephorium up here. That's not going to happen. About max range deep freeze there and take him down. The Balance Druid goes down like nothing. And here comes yet another Demolisher. Use my blink to get up there because I want to make sure I can pet freeze this thing. Ooh, even with a Frostfire Orb to slow this huge group coming in, that's about 4 or 5 players, about a third of their team, and just start unloading on this Demolisher. It's going to get taken down long before he's in range to bombard the Relic Chamber. Look at that damage. That's great teamwork there by the Alliance side. And now I just got a ton of Warlock dots and Balanced Druid dots. I'm putting up my shields. I'm using my Mage Ward, but also getting healed big time by that Resto Druid. Thank you very much. That means I can get back in action, evocating my mana back up right there, non-stop, ready to go again. My team is back in position, and here we go. We got about a minute, 2 minutes left before this round is over. I go up here to see what's going on again, and I see that there's some healers back there, or that's a Balanced Druid trying to get off some damage. Oh, and where was my deep freeze? Oh, I think I got it off. Maybe I used it on that Druid. Didn't see any huge numbers, though. Poor use of Frost Lance there, not using that effectively. There goes a Ring of Frost. Great placement yet again. It's hard to get the timing just right on those things because you can see when it starts to mist is when it freezes people. That's about 3 or 4 seconds before you place or after you place it. So you can always snare the Demolisher to compensate for your lack of foresight there. And I'm shooting down this same warrior again. He's in the middle of a Solar Beam is what they call that. And we got some Affliction Warlock up here. He's geared. You can tell by my damage on him. And here we go. I can't believe last time I was in this spot, I conjured a mana pie and just started eating it. It was so great. Okay, so I know this Ring of Frost is mine or my partner's because they couldn't have placed that there unless they were inside the chamber area. And here we have this rogue. He's running in with Phantom fans of knives. He thinks he's real cool. And here we go. The last push by the Horde. We have 3 Demolishers incoming. They had to have coordinated this. And I realized, oh boy, I gotta snare this as much as I can using my Frost Nova, Cone of Cold, even the Pet Freeze. Wish I had a Frostfire Orb off cooldown. There we go, blinking to catch up with these guys. They are starting to get in range of bombarding the relic. There's just 5 seconds left. It's too late. They would have been able to break it down had it come just moments earlier. And that was a great defensive turn by the Alliance team. Absolutely. So if you guys can't tell, my Mage is pretty undergeared. But I've been playing a Mage for a while. I'd say probably, oh boy, maybe a year and a half. And I've decided I want to get back into some competitive Frost PvP. I'm wearing a full Bloodthirsty set, but all my accessories, the belt, the boots, the neck, those are all PvE gear. In fact, I think I have some Spirit gear right now. But my trinkets are kick-ass, and I've got all 346 item level and higher. So starting to get up there. When I start doing arenas, I think I'm going to go straight for a weapon and then just fill out the rest of my PvP set. And at that point, I should be able to post some pretty competitive stuff. Frost Mages, contrary to common belief, do take a lot of skill to play. It doesn't take a lot of skill to get into playing a Mage, but to actually get near the skill cap, it does take a lot of practice. Like I mentioned before, it's like playing a game of chess. So I typically like to jump off the boat early if I have a slow fall or even an aquatic form, just so I can get a flank on the enemies back here. They don't expect it when you come from behind like this. And here I open up with a Pet Freeze on the Shadow Priest. I think, how did he get up there so quick? I got 3 players with that Pet Freeze, and then I plop down a nice Ring of Frost there. Try to delay them, keep the demos alive as long as I can. The first wave of Demolishers is the most crucial. I do get this warrior twice, and he's just going to go down if he doesn't turn around and face me, because my snares are going to be on him. I even throw a Frostfire Orb at him, catches up real quick, and he heroic leaps away. What the heck? Trying to escape. That was nice. Too bad, though, because Rigel's the chosen of the Kirin Tor, and you're just not going to get it. Whoa, look at these feral druids back here, both dashing. They must be friends. What is this, Animal Planet? Jeez. There's the 3 cats that just ran by right there. Oh, and I do get him with his snare after that lucky proc on the impact, but it looks like the Animal Planet, the zoo there, just took my kill. And here we have Restoration Druid. It might even be a bot. He's really questionable playstyle there. And we have an under-geared Death Knight that comes after me. Ooh, hitting him pretty hard there. Decides he doesn't want any of that, puts up his anti-magic shield and goes to try to help out his healer friend, but I don't think he realizes that his healer friend isn't exactly healing. So I'm just going to continue to bombard that guy. I use my mirror images. It actually drops the aggro on his ghoul pet. And here we go, some great burst damage there. Look at that Frost Firebolt for 26k. Even had my impact ready to go there. And I'm just going to catch up with the rest of my team. It's best if I don't pilot the Demolishers and I just try to snare the opponents that are attacking the Demolishers, because they have so many snares and so many roots. That's where I can use my skills most effectively. As a Frost Mage, it used to be that you wanted to step on the back of a Demolisher, but in patch 4.03 you can't ride on them anymore. So I encountered this Balanced Druid, uses a great Solar Flare or Solar Beam, whatever you call those things. What is this, Krillin Dragon Ball Z? Solar Flare! Get him with a nice Pet Freeze and burst on him. Look at that, with some Ice Lances. And this same warrior comes in after me. I blink to get out of that. Oh no, the match ends, but I did have a ice block because I think my blink was bugged out by the stairwell there. That's all I got for you guys. This has been Hengest with TGN.TV. That was a nice battleground on a Frost Mage. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.
Alright, so here's where the bottleneck begins. Even conjure a fucking mana pie and start drinking it right there. That was epic. Oh my gosh. Just sit down and start eating mana pies in the middle of an epic battle like this. Holy cow, Rigel.